Seems
What? Okay, let's go. Oh, hello everyone.
Hello,
Sorry,
everyone.
I realized we pressed the button there. Welcome to our Friday live stream.
Yep.
Glad you're here.
Happy almost June. Crazy to think that we hit June tomorrow.
That is crazy. We finally have been enjoying some warm, kind of sunny weather without a whole lot of storms, so we're thankful for that.
Yes.
Hopefully y'all can see us. We just got a message about our lovely Cox internet service not being the best, so
Shocker.
yeah.
Yep. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We weren't here last Friday, but we were on since it was Memorial Day. So hopefully everyone had a good Memorial Day weekend. We were here last Monday for National Streaming Day. So hopefully y'all were able to snag some deals. And we're going to start with another deal that I posted about in the community a couple of days ago. I believe it was on Wednesday that it came out. Hey, Christy. Thanks for joining us. So Peacock is announced a deal, $19.99. Hey, Steve, for a year. So this is, as you may know, they've got the Olympics coming up end of July. So I don't know, 6 or 7 weeks from now. They really did not have a National Streaming Day deal. So this one is pretty decent, especially given that they've got the price increase coming in a little over a month, going from $60 to $80 annually. So going to $20 if you use Peacock or like Peacock's content. It's a fairly good deal. We don't know how long that the deal is good for, or how long it's available, but you can use the code STREAM the deal, apparently in all caps, all one word. So you get that, and then it'll renew a year from now at the then current price of $80, assuming you don't cancel beforehand. So not a bad deal. And again, we don't know how long it will stick around for. But yeah, it's a pretty solid deal.
Yeah. So one service is offering a deal, and the other is announcing a price hike, and that would be Philo. So let's talk about this. This is going to be effective June 12th. Philo will raise its rates from $25 to $28 a month. And while we don't like price hikes, this is only Philo's second one in 7.5 years. So that's not too bad. Philo says that the cost of content is what's driving the increase. But they are going to include, as you can see from the headline there, AMC Plus as part of its new core package. So separately, that would cost $5 with ads and $9 without. So, they're going to include the ad-supported version of AMC Plus, giving you a couple dollar discount since they're raising their prices by $3. And if you want ad-free AMC Plus through Philo, you can upgrade for $4 more for that. So AMC Plus, I know we don't talk about it too much, but content on there that people might be interested in would be like Fear of the Walking Dead, Mad Men, and then it also includes access to the full streaming libraries of Shudder, Sundance Now, and IFC. So if that's your kind of content, it's not a bad deal. Existing subscribers to Philo will not be affected by the price increase, but it also means that you wouldn't get the AMC Plus add-on. So Philo has honored existing subscribers' prices since 2017 without requiring them to pay more. So there are still some Philo subscribers paying $16 for their plan. Then the last piece about Philo is that they also announced that its free FAST platform of more than 70 free channels is now going to be available. You won't need an account to access them. So it's and then you can also, even with that free account, you can save shows on their FAST service for up to 30 days. It includes a cloud DVR with it. So this is in line with Sling, Freestream, and a few others across the space that are moving towards these fast platforms that also allow you to record a limited amount of content.
Yeah, and we're going to discuss that here in a bit with Fubo. A launching something similar that just went live today. Key difference though with Fubo's is many of their free channels that they're offering are already available in their paid platform, and they're not offering a DVR. And so yeah, I don't want to get too far ahead, but we'll cover Fubo here in a bit. But like Nicole said, we hate price increases. But reading the blog post from Philo, it's really interesting, and you can tell that they really want to keep being that budget streamer that people want, specifically those that don't need major sports, and they're adding value to it. And what I personally like is that they're not forcing current subscribers to move up. And if you don't need AMC Plus, then great, you can just stay in what your current pricing is. So that's really nice to see.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, and so our next news is Paramount, which has been in the news for weeks upon weeks with their merger. Two different things is that they signed a new deal with Charter.
Which, sorry folks, just gotta say, you gotta love that headline, right? I feel like only Charter would put out a headline like that.
Yeah.
It's like a whole paragraph.
Yeah, it is. And so this was about a week ago, I believe it was, a week or so ago that they agreed to this deal. And so it's a new multi-year carriage agreement. And the Charter Spectrum subscribers will get the entire Paramount portfolio, so CBS, BET, Comedy Central, and others. And the then current deal, so the former deal had expired on April 30th, but they had agreed to extend it unofficially until they could come to an agreement. And one thing that really comes out of this is that if you remember what Disney did with Charter recently, last year or so, is that now Charter subscribers are going to get Paramount Plus and BET Plus Essential, so the Essential plans for both of those at no additional cost at some point this year. They've not said if it's going to be, next month or November or whatever. They've not said that, but that is a nice value add, and it's not surprising, seeing as that Charter wants to keep their customers. And but the key difference is that Charter's not dropping any of the cable networks from Paramount, whereas that was not the case with Disney. And you can also I did not read this about BET Plus, and I admittedly don't know much about BET Plus, but Paramount Plus Essential, if you don't want the ad-supported plan, they will allow you to bump up to the ad-free plan at the price differential. And so then the second piece about Paramount is, as we discussed 2 weeks ago, they were in talks with Sony for a potential merger, that the exclusive window had fallen out with Skydance. Well, as of yesterday afternoon, Skydance is now back in the picture. And Wall Street Journal first reported this, and Variety and others have been reporting on it. And so Skydance submitted a better, what was called a sweetened offer, is what they called it. And so if you remember, the original offer they made really was not beneficial to the non-voting shareholders of Paramount. It was really more beneficial to Sherry Redstone and the very high voting members, voting holders. So the exact terms, Wall Street Journal did not report what the new deal is yet, the particulars around it. But what we do know is that it's more favorable to both the voting and now the non-voting members. The latter piece is significant because it's Skydance's original deal was really only geared towards Sherry Redstone. Now, whoever they decide upon, any deal will need to be approved by an independent committee of directors, and then Sherry Redstone gets to approve it. And it's really, the reporting is saying that this is just the product of weeks of back and forth between Skydance and Paramount. So it will, time will tell what's going to happen. And Paramount, they have so many linear networks, cable networks, and their streaming platform right now is being left in the cold with what's going on with bundling, and so time will tell how this will work out and what will happen, as opposed to Sony, who might have been more piecemeal in taking what they want and shutting things down. And from what I understand, Sony's not out of the picture yet. It's just there's been nothing reported if they have responded or not yet, or if they will respond. And there was a question about, do you think Warner Brothers will close down Discovery Plus? It would not surprise me to see that at some point. We saw that with Paramount, with Showtime, and pulling it in all under one umbrella. WBD is dealing with debt, so it wouldn't. How much you watch Discovery content? How much would you?
There's a fair bit of Discovery Plus content on Max now, ever since the relaunch of Max. For me, a casual kind of watcher like me, who I just like House Hunters and House Hunters International and some of those travel type shows, there's enough there for me. But I remember, and this may not still be the case, but I do remember at the time, Zaslav said that Discovery Plus was still really profitable, and the audience for Discovery Plus was very different than the audience for HBO. And so they intended, with that rationale, to keep Discovery Plus as a standalone while still integrating like around 70% of the content into Max. So as to whether or not they'll shut it down, I think it's going to come down to, is Discovery Plus still profitable for them? And if it is, then they'll probably keep it, because why not have another option out there for people that don't want the bundle? All they want is Discovery Plus.
I would also add to that, and that's definitely fair, what kind of cost savings they would get by shuttering Discovery Plus, especially given that they're not out of the woods yet, supposedly, in terms of the NBA rights deal, and there's moving parts with that there. And relative to that, it's Disney and NBC seem to be the ones in the lead, and Amazon, it seems like, or from the reporting I've read, it has been reported that WBD is seeming to go after that piece that Amazon has, or is wanting to get, because it's from all appearances, Disney and NBC have it pretty much locked down that they're going to get the NBA. So, if they need to cut costs in order to make a better offer, it's just, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Well, John kind of started talking about bundles, so that's actually our next piece. There was an interesting article in the Journal this week on bundling, how people are using them to save money on streaming. And it just brought up a question for us, and we wanted to discuss with all of you about, are bundles really good for the consumer? So we just wanted to cover a few points on that. So media companies will say that bundles save you money and they offer you convenience. But there is an interesting point in this article here on screen that people are already doing that with do-it-yourself bundles through shared accounts with family members, neighbors and colleagues, and then existing deals. And we do that. So you can make your own bundle, sometimes cheaper, and give yourself more freedom to cancel a service when you don't like it, or if the price goes up or whatever, as opposed to just getting it through the bundle. I think it was kind of the main argument there. So just to show this little graphic for y'all, I talk a bit here. So bundles are going to have to be better than what you can make yourself to really gain traffic with people who are currently building their own bundles. It's true that most Americans share passwords to their streaming services. So how are streamers going to get around that? I know they're trying to crack down on people like Netflix and stuff, but they're not going to be perfect at it. And people can save a lot more money, obviously, that way than they would by signing up for a bundle. Also, monthly budgets for streaming dropped to $35 last year. So that's what the average American is willing to spend on streaming services, is $35 a month. And that was a 13% decline from 2022. And then half of all streamers say that they would cancel their plans if prices increased by up to 30%. So except there was one exception there, and that was Amazon. And that's because of all the benefits that people get with Prime, largely the free shipping. So all that said, I think the bottom line here is that bundles, while they generally would save you money over paying full price for a service and offer convenience in that, you'd have, in theory, one bill, they aren't the best option for everyone. They don't always make sense for everyone. If you wanted to sign up for 3 services, including like Peacock, that deal that we showed at the beginning of the live stream, you could save more money on those deep discounts. Say you sign up for a year for a plan, and then you can't do that if you're already locked into a bundle. And then what does it make sense for? So it doesn't make sense for every streaming service, just like it doesn't make sense for every streamer. So Max, does it make sense to bundle Max? Yes, because there's very little overlap with other services. Paramount Plus, does it make sense to do a bundle with them? Yes, especially if you bundle Paramount Plus with Apple TV Plus and Peacock. Netflix, no, it really doesn't make sense to bundle Netflix because almost half of streamers already have Netflix. So, what are you really gaining with a bundle there? So just the bottom line is, before you sign up for a bundle, just see if you can snag a better deal by making one yourself, and also check your cell phone provider. Verizon is offering a lot of deals. And I think actually that's kind of our next topic too.
And the other thing that Nicole didn't mention was, bundles may be great, but let's take, for example, the Disney Hulu and Disney Plus Hulu and Max bundle that's going to be coming out. If you only use 2 of the services, why pay for the bundle? You're going to be overpaying that way. And the other piece that we've not discussed that would not surprise me at some point down the road with these bundles is introducing some kind of contract to it. Yep. It may not be a cable contract per se, but who's to say that the bundling providers would say, we require you to stay for a year in order to get this pricing, and if you don't, then some other things could come into play. So it would be interesting to see how that plays out, and it would not surprise me, not seen any specific mentions about that, but anyone that's followed streaming for years knows that as it reaches into maturity, it very well could get that. And there's a question is there an ESPN bundle? Not yet. I mean, there's the standalone streaming bundle that's going to include ESPN, the ESPN family of networks that's supposedly coming out this fall.
Venue.
Yeah, Venue. And then, thank you. And then the standalone option next fall of 2025.
Yeah. Right now, the only bundle that you're going to get would be ESPN Plus as part of the Disney bundle. And that does not include ESPN linear network content. Yep.
For sure. And so anyway, Nicole had mentioned the new Verizon offers that are coming out if you have Verizon as your phone carrier.
Yeah, let me go ahead and touch on that. So got this screen here. Verizon is going to offer YouTube Premium. So that's YouTube without ads at a 30% discount. And that's for $10 a month. The regular price is $14 a month. Other deals you can get through the Verizon Plus Play would be Peacock. You can get that for $6.
And that's not really a deal.
Well, it's just because it's the current price, and those are going to go up by $2 in
really
July.
Just allowing you to bundle it is really
Yeah, and then if you sign up for at least 2 services through Verizon's My Plan and Plus Play, you can pay $10 a month and get a $15 a month credit. So the other plans you could do that with would be Netflix and Max for $10 a month, which is a 40% savings, and then the Disney bundle for $10 a month, which is a 33% savings. So if you have Verizon, it's worth looking at. It also centralizes payment into one bill with Verizon, which is convenient.
Yeah, it is. And that's awesome, Lou, that y'all have Philo and you're not going to be choosing the upgrade. And that's what yes, it's a price hike, but I love that it's not a forced price hike like, they all do seemingly. Well, we're just going to force this upon you and you don't really get anything out of it. At least Philo is offering something of value, and since you don't value that, since you don't watch that content, it's easy for you to stay at that lower pricing. So next is Diamond Sports. They, like Paramount, have been in the news even longer than Paramount. So Diamond Sports Group delays the hearing of their reorganization plan. That came out earlier this week, late last week, I believe. It was supposed to have a hearing on June 18th, so in a little over close to 3 weeks, but they pushed it back another 6 to 7 weeks to the end of July 29th and 30th, to negotiate deals with the NBA and NHL and update financial projections. Now, Diamond does need to get a new carriage deal with Comcast, which they're saying is critical, and I would agree with that, for its reorganization plan. And the hearing will determine if Diamond can emerge from Chapter 11, impacting regional sports broadcasts for MLB, NBA, NHL. And so this quote from ESPN, a representative from Diamond said pushing the confirmation hearing back allows the company more time to negotiate deals with the NBA and the NHL, and to provide financial projections that reflect its being unable to secure a new contract with Comcast, its third largest distributor. So they have deals with 3 of their top 4 distributors, just not Comcast. And, we've discussed here on other live streams how Diamond Valley, they just will not seemingly go away. And this is another proof that they're not going to. And one problem that this causes is that the MLB, which is a major creditor, is getting super frustrated with this delay. They want information. They're skeptical of Diamond's plan to emerge from bankruptcy. And because of this lack of clarity still, that's now going to be pushed back 6 or 7 more weeks, the MLB cannot advance its national media strategy, which obviously causes issues, including a no blackout streaming service for end market fans. And so this is going to further delay the ability of streamers to be able to know what's going to go on. My concern is that however this works out, ultimately it's going to be more difficult for baseball fans to be able to watch the games that they want, just like we have seen full force with the NFL, and given how the NBA deal seems to be shaking out, going to be similar with the NBA. Just making live sports, which... Do you mean baseball? Yeah, sorry. So all 3. Mm-hmm. Making live sports more difficult to watch. And that's, as we've said, streaming companies are going to say, well, there's choice. There's plenty of opportunity to go, well, there may be choice, but it makes it more expensive for us as customers, as viewers, to be able to go get the sports that we want.
I think especially if you want every game for your teams, because I know Brent commented about the free Major League Baseball games on Roku. That's a great example of, like, if you're just a casual fan or you just like sports in general, you're going to get a few games absolutely for free, and it allows baseball, the MLB, to expand their audience. But John's absolutely right. If you're trying to watch all your team's games, the issues going on with the regional sports networks are difficult. It's making it more challenging and probably more expensive in the long run for you as well.
Yeah, and another great question: do you think that Netflix is going to bundle with the ESPN streaming service?
That's a great question. Interesting idea.
Yeah, it is. I know from recent interviews that who's Disney's Iger?
Bob Iger.
Thank you. That Iger has given, he views Netflix as the cream of the crop in terms of streaming, and I don't think, at least initially, they would, especially if Netflix starts to dabble into more live sports. I would think it's going to depend on how successful the launch of the ESPN streaming service is. If they're struggling, it would absolutely, I think, benefit them to try and get a deal together. But we're talking about something that's about roughly 15 months from now. So I don't think it, and also I think even more importantly, would Netflix see the value of adding on ESPN?
Well, I think if the bundle is there, so the option is there to add the, say, add Venue, for example, to Netflix, that could arguably give you an entire streaming solution for everything that you want to watch. But Disney's going to want to do the same thing with their bundle and Venue. So I see a conflict of interest there.
Yeah.
And I mean, Netflix has said they weren't going to go after live sports, but as we talked about recently, they have now spent a bunch of money to get NFL Christmas games. So it's, I think it's unclear if their own self-interests could align to make that bundle possible.
Yeah, and Troy brings up an excellent point that the Christmas Day games with the NFL is going to be the test. And if you remember back to what's the reality show, Love Is Blind,
yeah,
that they tried to do the live stream last year,
and
it was just an utter absolute failure. And that's just stupid reality TV.
Yeah.
You start messing around with people's NFL games on Christmas Day when they're with family or trying to ignore their family, and it's a big game that has playoff implications.
Yeah.
That just will be another issue altogether.
Right.
And, yeah.
Well, at least they have 6 months ish to
Yeah.
get ready for that. I would expect them to be able to handle it. They've
One would hope.
Amazon has had Thursday Night Football now for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So hopefully Netflix is learning from them how to work out.
Especially the
Not that
first season.
Amazon's going to share their learnings with
Yeah,
Netflix by any
for
means,
sure.
but
I don't think Fox ever will offer a premium version because they're with Hulu right now. Much of their content's with Hulu, and it would be a significant cost, I would assume, for them to launch their own platform, and why do that when they can piggyback off of Hulu?
And they're also involved in the Venue deal.
Yeah.
So I think that would seem that's the direction they're choosing to go rather than trying to launch their own. And I think that networks have learned from that. Many of them probably regret it because they see how expensive it was and that they really aren't getting the return on their investment for those.
Yeah.
So I think we're ultimately going to see the Peacocks, Paramount Pluses, Hulu even of the world go away, and we'll be left
We're going
with
to see a culling.
Yeah, we'll just be left with these bundles, maybe Disney, Netflix, and Max, and whatever can get cobbled into them.
Yeah, and one final note, I sort of touched on it earlier with Philo. Fubo finally rolled out their unlimited DVR, which seems like that they should have done years ago. They promised this back in January, I believe, when they did their $5 price increase. So they have finally rolled it out to new and existing subscribers. And they also launched a free tier called Fubo Free, and I read that just got launched today, and they're saying that's to boost engagement. So they want people on their platform just like every other streaming service does. It's available to current subscribers and then select former and trial subscribers. And from what I have read, you can just, if you used to subscribe to Fubo, you could go and use your login credentials, and that if you were selected, that will get you to their free platform. But notably, virtually all, if not every single channel on their fast offering is available in their free platform, which is telling. And they're not offering any kind of DVR or saving capabilities like Philo has with the 30-day, I believe it was, free stream 10-hour DVR, which while that isn't terribly robust,
it's something.
It's something.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing. And so they are hoping that this move will help them increase subscribers. But with the venue option now probably 2 or 3 months max from rolling out, time will tell if they're able to.
I think it's a little too late.
Yeah.
And to Troy's point, fast services are really even growing in popularity, and they are the future of streaming. So yeah, and I think, before we were talking about ways to save on streaming, we always do that. If you aren't using fast services, try Pluto, Tubi, Roku channel are kind of the 3 leaders there. We have a video that is coming out or just came out on them. So try them. There's no risk to it. It's free.
Yeah.
You can create an account for free and then create watch lists.
And some don't even require you to have subscribe, but if they do, they offer give you different perks.
You can watch. Just go to fuboTV.com, FlutoTV.com, and you can watch for free without creating an account. But if you create an account, you get to favorite things and make watch lists, and that can make it easier to find what you're looking for. So once those fast services all start having free DVRs, I just don't see how someone like Fubo is going to compete, and unless like we've been talking about, you really want live sports. That's
really the piece.
So
For sure.
Oh, thank you, Carlos.
Yes,
Appreciate
thank
that.
you. Yes,
that's
we
great.
Appreciate that. Well, that's about all we have today, guys. And I agree with Troy. I think that's going to be a huge story the second half of the year. Fubo and others like Dish and DirecTV that signed on with them and Venue. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a huge thing. And I don't think Dish, DirecTV, and Fubo especially really have a leg to stand on, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
So that's about all we have today.
Thanks everyone for joining us and being active in the chat.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you guys. We plan to be here next Friday.
Yep.
So we'll keep watching the news of the week, and don't forget about our channel on YouTube. We have a community tab there. If you want to make a comment on anything that you have questions about, let us know.
Yep, for sure.
All right, take care everyone.
Yep.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.